Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Dimitri back again. In this video, we're gonna do a discussion, a little bit different, but a discussion about buying versus renting a real estate. And what's the perks of buying and versus renting in the real market, in today's market. And I just also wanted to discuss how I started as also in real estate. And it was really interesting to see that there are advantages on both sides, to be honest. So, and depending on your life situation, would be actually really reasonable one way or the other. Therefore, I just wanted to discuss that, as well as the how to proceed with the initial steps and beginnings, because I went through it, and from one point it was good, and from one point it was beneficial, and it's not beneficial anymore. So it's kind of in that setting today. So to begin with, we really need to consider in what situation you're in terms of your real estate perspective, in your life perspective, your financial situation, things like that. So depending on whether you're do 9 to 5 all the way through or something like that, and you settle in, or you're not planning to move around anymore, or you're not planning to move to another state or things like that, so you're going to keep staying there for foreseeable future, then you know what, it's going to be a good opportunity and option to actually buy a real estate rather than renting it. So in the terms of buying real estate, it's really a good perspective of being in this position. You know what, for foreseeable future, I will be in this position, in this situation. So let's say I'm working 9 to 5. Okay, so for foreseeable future, I'm good. It's I don't plan to move anymore. I don't plan to move around anywhere else. So I'm happy with the job, and I'm happy with that. So and in this case, it would be prudent to really buy a house. Why? Because buying in a specific situation, buying a house, you actually making yourself a sort of, or beginning with the accumulating wealth, accumulating position to the position of setting up sort of a war chest, or a chest where you can partake that money, or like take it in down the line later on, that money for the future purchases or renovations or something, things like that. So if you're like employee at some company, at some organization or whatever, so, and you're for the foreseeable future, you don't plan to move around, that's a pretty good spot where you might consider, you know what, hey, let's go and buy either apartment, housing, or things like that. It's not in a situation where, hey, you want to be continuing in that or position or things like that. But it would be good to consider that, because like I said, it's a long-term plan for that specific situation, and it would unlock a couple of things for you, like such as building up prices, or building up the war chest for yourself, where you can partake the things there. And obviously it's going to be your spot, where you live. It would be your particular location, so to speak, dream house, dream home, and things like that. So that's it also brings a good feeling. So, but nonetheless, from a practical standpoint, that would be good spot or a good place to jump from. So if you consider yourself in that position, so that would be a nice place to start. So from my perspective, just to share it with you, at some point it wasn't beneficial for me to be in a position of buying a house, because at that point of time, it was kind of situation where there was not a surety of the long-term plan. So therefore, renting a house, so let's say you're in a specific situation where you don't know whether you're going to stay here or going to move around anymore, things like that. So to put the roots down, so to speak, I think it's better for you to rent it, because it's kind of situation where it's like, you got to do a quick move, or you got to do a quick come out of things. So but if you're in a situation you're renting out year to year, well, obviously there is kind of there too, like you don't know about the year from now or two from now. Yes, however, it's still a situation of buying it. So depending on the relocation kind of thing, that would be a good thing to consider of whether you're buying a house or not. Because buying a house, you're getting a premium, not premium, but interest and principal. And what does that mean is that you basically, when you pay a mortgage, right? So rather than paying a mortgage, you will be paying principal and interest. Principal, you will be, obviously it's the same kind of, like for accumulation part or for the amount part, it might be somewhat the same to the particular organization. However, there are tools that can be utilized, and we discussed in this channel HELOC. We can discuss this channel, like some equity credit or equity loans and things like that. Multiple tools that can be utilized and tap into the principal of the house, of principal of the payments that you made. So it's kind of a little bit confusing, but think of it as you are as a you have that equity, and that equity accumulates for the house. Let's say you bought a house and then you make a mortgage payment every now and then, not every now, but every time, right? And then you pay your mortgage, right? So your mortgage consists of principal and interest, right? So let's say you want to, based on that, you want to buy another house or another property to rent it out, right? So, and then what you do is usually you go and then you ask questions around your mortgage agent, things like that, and say, hey, you know what, I would like to tap into the equity of my current house that I live in, and like a year from now, 2 years from now, you made the fixer upper, or you bought a fixer upper, you lived there, you made fixes, you got a good equity there now, so let's say you put like $30,000 or $30,000 in it, and then you're good in the sense of equity, and then you say, you know what, I want to tap into it and utilize it rather than selling a house. So without selling a house, you can do like HELOC and equity, tap into equity, still live there, partake it as you need to. You can ask it with the mortgage agent, tell them, hey, you know what, that's how can we do it, how can we proceed that, then there's going to be steps explained. But that in this situation, so that would be really beneficial for you as to buy a house to start that process, because every time, like, there are multiple, like lots of questions I being asked with my close circle, where they are like, how did you start it, how did you do it, how did you do it? And I always tell them pretty much the same. It's like, I bought the house, I did that, I did this, I put the HELOC on the equity, I renovated, I did to put the equity on it, I took out the equity from it without selling it, and that's how I jump into another real estate and bought another one and things like that. So that's how pretty much one of the strategy, when it clicked, I started, and it's going strong, thank God. So, and that's pretty much the beneficial part of starting in real estate and buying real estate. From the perspective of renting it, obviously, if you are in the position of not being able to buy a house for a specific reason, either relocation, financial situation. However, financial situation, I'm kind of like, we can maybe discuss that, because if you're moving from buying to rent, or from renting to buy, because it's kind of, if you keep it in the same level of financing part, so you will be actually better off in that situation of buying it rather than keep renting it. So, but if it's a relocation part, or like uncertainty of the future in terms of like you living here or like in a particular area, then yeah, it would be definite consideration of renting it, continuing to rent it. So from the perspective of business ownership and things like that, so if you're a business owner, or like you utilize your place or the way you live in, and you live in, you're renting out an apartment or whatever, and then you utilize it as a also office for your consulting business, for what, let's say for example for consulting business, or like other things, then it's definitely sort of a good spot. I don't specifically know how to percentage wise you can deduct that on your tax spreadsheet and things like that, like the claiming part and things like, and all those things. Like consult with CPA obviously and check with how that taxes wise you can do that. But it is definitely a point where you can consider, or you can, contemplate that, what, hey, I utilize this space for my business as well as, like, this computer, whatever. Like, and then you as business owner, you probably, or you already know that you can deduct certain things, well, a lot of things actually, in the if you consider that. But there are also, good and bad sides. If you like deduct too much, then there are certain questions being raised, like, what, how did you make money this year? And then you're asking for, let's say you want another mortgage, and then, or like a loan or something, and then since it's official tax documents or official documents considered, so questions going to be raised, in a certain situation. So, and that's why I kind of in a place where, if you can deduct, but deduct as much as, like, feasible, reasonable, because if you're in a stage of growth, you can grow, but you need to be able to access the money that needed, because, like, you need to grow. Other than that, if you are able to and utilize that a lot, so for the deduction purposes, then yeah, what, the tools are there, and utilization in the proper way, obviously can pretty much do you good in that sense. So, but from the perspective of business ownership, that's definitely the case, where you might consider leasing the place, because you can do a business expense, right? So as much as the same thing with the car, same thing with the other, like, sort of like you can utilize those as non-appreciating assets, definitely. But since we're talking about the real estate, renting and buying it, these are maybe two major areas that can be really considered that. So in the perspective of financial situation, more or less, many things can be considered, in terms of renting versus buying, because sometimes it's just plain fear that keep people from buying a house. Well, yes, interest rates are also high as of today. Well, as of today, right? It's being shot at October 19, 2023. So rates are right now just about hitting 8%. So yeah, and that's pretty much where we stand as of today. But that can be keeping people from buying a house. However, still, it's good to consider buying a house nonetheless. But if you're able, if not, then obviously there's like paperwork. There's also things involved in the buying a house. But at least consider it, moving to that direction, going after it. Making a decision first, at least that's the first step. Acknowledge it, understand it, making a decision, and then try to accomplish it. One of the beginning decisions that a lot of people can't even do those. So and my message to you today, so consider your situation, think about it, see what's good, and if it's good for you, buy a house. Don't sit there, don't contemplate it when it's gonna be good, or if we're good to go, or whatever. Then yeah, if you consider you able to buy a house, go for it, because you definitely either can sell it definitely down the line, or refinance and things like that. Or if you're in a business situation type of setting, yeah, you definitely can consider renting a house, and it would be really good because you don't need to worry about any things like repairs. Most of the time repairs are covered by the landlord, but depending on the setting, obviously depending on the contract, but those things are considered, and a lot of people can utilize it a lot, so another benefit of renting, right? So, but there are a few things, but the hybrid situation also just came to my mind. A hybrid situation where you got a mortgage on the house, you live there, but you're also a business owner, you utilize it. So obviously there's some things, honestly, it's going even deeper in the rabbit hole, but consult with the CPA on this and talk to them about how much you can deduct from your mortgage as a business expense of you being in that spot, and then being a business owner, consulting, being there. So my worthwhile, but it's just a thought. So check it out with CPA, definitely. And it's like a really not red flags, but really a lot of a red exclamation point, and I'm stressing it out. Check with CPA, check with the mortgage agents, things that I would talk about in this video. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe down below. My name is Dmitry. Link down below for the everything that I just mentioned, sub, like, and everything, because it helps out the channel a lot. And let me know in the comments below what you guys want to talk about in the next video and things of that nature. So see you guys next time.